The year is 1756. In snowy Salzburg, a child is born who will change the history of music. A child who will one day be called a miracle. Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. Mozart grows up in a family where music literally breathes. Of all 7 siblings, however, only Wolfgang and his 4.5-year older sister, Marianna, nicknamed Nannerl, lived to adulthood. His father, Leopold Mozart, is a renowned musician, strict but devoted. His older sister, Marianna, an excellent pianist. And little Wolfgang is like a sponge. He absorbs everything. He hears everything. He remembers everything. At 3, he sits at the harpsichord. At 4, he composes his first small pieces. At 5, he already amazes the nobility. And at 8, Johann Christian Bach himself praises him. This is no ordinary child. This is a revelation. Father Leopold sees that he has a treasure at home, and so begins a great European tour. Paris, London, The Hague, Frankfurt, Munich. Little Mozart plays in front of kings, duchesses, in front of entire courts. One day, he slips on the floor, and Marie Antoinette herself picks him up. Mozart looks at her and says, "I think I'll marry you." He was 6. Mozart had a gift that cannot be taught. All he had to do was hear something, once, and he could write it down. Sometimes he even improved it. It is said that he once wrote a piece so complex that no one could play it. No one, except him. Salieri didn't believe it. Mozart just smiled, sat down at the piano, and played it exactly according to the notes, without a single mistake. Mozart was not just a composer. He was a playwright, a storyteller. His operas are full of emotion, humor, humanity. At the age of 12, he composed an opera for the emperor. Later, he became a Freemason, and his last completed opera, The Magic Flute, is full of symbols, light, and faith in goodness. It is music that uplifts, music that heals, music that has survived the centuries. But Mozart was also playful. Once, during a concert, a cat ran onto the stage. Mozart stopped playing. He ran after it and started playing with it. His father was furious, and Mozart just replied, "A harpsichord doesn't run away, but a cat does." And the audience loved him even more. Mozart earned well, but money slipped through his fingers. Not for luxury, not for horses, jewelry, or castles, but for music, for life, for joy. His wife, Constance, was his support. "She is my thoroughbred herd, my castle, my children, my lover," he once said. It was true love. But life was not easy. They often lived in debt, and Mozart borrowed from friends. But he never stopped creating. In Frankfurt, 7-year-old Mozart met 14-year-old Goethe. They talked about music, about poetry. Mozart asked, "Is it difficult to write verse?" Goethe replied, "On the contrary, very easy." 2 geniuses, each different, and yet they understood each other. Mozart's last months were filled with pain, illness, exhaustion, and the mysterious man in black who commissioned the Requiem. Mozart believed he was writing his own funeral mass. And maybe he was right. He would sit at his desk at night, with only a candle, and write. He would only stop writing when he could no longer lift his hand. The Requiem remained unfinished. But even so, it is one of the most powerful works in the history of music. Mozart died on December 5, 1791. He was only 35 years old. It is still not known exactly what happened. Rheumatic fever? Kidney failure? Poisoning? One thing is certain. His death was swift, and the world lost a genius. He was buried in a mass grave, without pomp, without a tombstone, without a farewell. No one knows exactly where he lies. Mozart left behind more than 600 compositions, symphonies, operas, chamber music, concertos, sonatas, masses, music that has survived wars, revolutions, the fall of empires, music that still moves, inspires, and heals today. And 2026 is the year we commemorate, 270 years since his birth, the perfect time to stop and let his music speak again. Mozart may have died young, but his music lives on, in every note, in every heart that lets itself be touched, and in every moment when the world needs a little light.